But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now, what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away, one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin."
Undoubtedly, you have encountered situations where hypocrisy hid behind a mask of virtue and forgiveness attempted to pry open the gates of prejudice, but without clear success. And if you haven't been part of such a confrontation, just turning on the television is enough. Isn't it paradoxical that those who demand justice for others, the loudest, often stand on very shaky ground themselves? In life, we often face situations that test us, forcing us to choose between condemnation and forgiveness. Is it possible to avoid the trap of hypocrisy when we point out the faults of others, forgetting our own weaknesses? Do we have the right to judge the actions and motivations of another person? The Pharisees dragged a woman caught in adultery before Jesus. If the Messiah had sent her away without punishment, he would have been accused of breaking Mosaic law. If he had ordered her to be stoned, he would have contradicted his own teachings. Jesus deflects the issue back to his opponents. How easy it is to condemn when the problem of guilty or innocent does not concern us personally. Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her. These words continually pierce our reality, where it's so easy to judge and criticize others, disregarding the fact that we ourselves are not free from lesser or greater offenses. In times when public condemnation and exclusion seem to be the order of the day, and the internet allows us to hide behind a pseudonym, Jesus' words remind us of a universal truth. We are all humans prone to errors and mistakes. In social life, professional settings, and even within our churches, we encounter situations that test our readiness to forgive. How easy it is for us to assume the role of judge, not reflecting on our own imperfections. Jesus showed us that true justice is not detached from mercy. "Neither do I condemn you. Go now and sin no more." These words are not only an act of forgiveness, but also a call to transformation and to start a new, better life. Jesus' teaching is elaborated in the words from the 4th chapter of the letter to the Ephesians. "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." In these words, we find the key to the true life of a community of believers, and a chalice for building on the foundation of mutual understanding, respect, and forgiveness. In the 3rd chapter of the letter to the Colossians, Paul reminds us of the power of forgiveness in building a Christian community with these words: "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Let today's contemplation be a call to reflection for all of us. Let's consider whether by any chance there is a small basket of stones in our hearts, prepared to be thrown at others. Let the parable of the woman caught in adultery be a literal guide to learning forgiveness and mercy. Remember, only through empathy and forgiveness can we avoid the traps of hypocrisy and live the full life to which we have been called. May God bless us all.